Over the last few days, protesters set fire to symbols of the regime's repression.
ישראל תומכת במאבקם לחופש ומגנה בתקיפות.
He was here to urge Trump.
The U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on
Nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons.
Media conglomerates are even sharing conflicting numbers. Like Barry Weiss literally trained. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way, because they're Iranian, like nationality-wise. They're just old videos. Venezuela stuff happened because
he recently cozied up with Israel as part of his efforts to take charge in Tehran.
And the propaganda of an Iranian protest on his social media. What's up, guys? My name is Jovian. This is Crescent Cross Covenant Coalition. The goal of this channel is to heal the divide between Christians and Muslims and showcase the truth about Islam, or Islam, as some of my critics have forced me to pronounce properly. So you're welcome, Islam. And yeah, hope everyone's doing well today. Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in Islam. And Iran. The protests going on right now.
Their leaders. And declares this the final battle. Over the last few days, protesters set fire to symbols of the regime's repression.
They're not going on right now. That's the secret. The false pretenses and the sort of false media packaging that is this like civil unrest in Iran and the reasons it's happening, how long it's happening, the amount of deaths involved in these protests, all fake, all absolutely fake. The unfortunate thing is I don't know what the fuck is real. Like I don't know to what extent where the truth lies, but I know what they are projecting onto us through the media is all fake, all fake. Why the fuck would Jews and Israel give a fuck about Iran?
העם בישראל, העולם כולו, משתאה מול הגבורה האדירה של אזרחי איראן. ישראל תומכת במאבקם לחופש ומגנה בתקיפות את מעשה הטבח ההמוני באזרחים חפים מפשע.
Anyone that's sharing that, like from that angle, they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about Iran. So whatever they're sharing can't be the truth because they never gave a fuck about Iran to begin with. It's actually sad. Like it's actually sad because Iran is the final sort of boss before the Middle East becomes nothing but just anarchy for the most part. So it is sad to see this happening to Iran. It's also funny, Netanyahu was here, December 29th he got here, which is my birthday, by the way. So that was a fun birthday gift. He was here to urge Trump to go back in Iran, to help them bomb Iran. But we've already bombed their...
The U.S. military carried out massive precision strikes on the 3 key nuclear facilities in the Iranian regime.
Where they were able to nuclear, like the nuclear hedging they were doing. And what nuclear hedging basically is, a country is on the verge of a nuclear bomb. So hedging means they're right on the edge. They could either de-escalate and not make it, or they could make it, like they're right there. So the US has already destroyed some of the facilities or hurt some of the facilities that could create the nuclear bomb. We already did that last year. So to the outside American who only gets their news from, the legacy media, they're like, okay, look, we won. But anyone who's paying attention to this shit knows that, okay, that was just the beginning. Now Netanyahu and Israel have come back and now they say, no, that wasn't enough. Now you got to destroy their missiles. But they're just missiles. Like they're just regular missiles. That's your responsibility. What the fuck has it got to do in America? They can't reach here. But he wants those missiles destroyed, and then that's not going to be the end. Now it's going to be, We got to take out their regime. Their regime is still a threat. It's like, no, they're not a threat to America. They're a threat to you. So this is going to be a constant thing. That's what he was here for, as well as going back into Syria, going back into Lebanon, going into Iraq again.
Iran has never given up its quest for nuclear weapons and the missiles to deliver them.
That's because Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been saying this for more than 30 years, claiming Iran is close to having
Nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons. Nuclear weapons. Atomic bombs.
In 1992, as a member of parliament, Netanyahu addresses the Knesset. He says, within 3 to 5 years, we can assume that Iran will become autonomous in its ability to develop and produce a nuclear bomb. 3 years later, in his book Fighting Terrorism, he repeats the same time frame, 3 to 5 years.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Fast forward to 2002. Netanyahu testifies before a U.S. congressional committee actively calling for the invasion of Iraq.
Are there any other nations that you would recommend that the United States launch preemptive attacks upon at this point?
The two nations that are vying, competing with each other, who will be the first to achieve nuclear weapons, is Iraq and Iran.
He was here for all those things. To what extent Trump agreed or disagreed, who knows? You know, I don't even know what side he's on anymore. But as soon as Netanyahu got back to his country, not his country in Poland, his country in the Middle East, his fake country, all of a sudden this protest breaks out. And now there are deaths from this protest because of civil unrest. And, you know, they're saying one of the Iranian institutional banks is gone. Like they had to shut down, I guess, maybe, I'm not sure. And now the Iranian regime they're killing protesters. There's a media blackout, an internet blackout. That's all a lie, bro. Even the New York Times, CBS News, New York Post, a lot of these media conglomerates are even sharing conflicting numbers of deaths. I've seen 500 deaths, 1,000 deaths, 2,000 deaths, body bags everywhere from the Iranian regime killing protesters. And then CBS News said 20,000 deaths. They said 15,000 to 20,000 deaths. So what the fuck number is it? Is it 500? Is it 1,000 or is it 20,000? That's a huge range. How do you not know that? Like a range between 500 and 2,000, okay, that makes sense, maybe, because there's a internet blackout. But yeah, like what's the number? That's crazy. 20,000, right? 20,000. You know you can't believe it because CBS is Barry Weiss. Like Barry Weiss literally trained in America's Greatest Allies. She trained there to learn the art of propaganda. So you can't trust anything from that stupid dyke bitch. Stupid dyke bitch. I'm not trusting anything that comes out of her mouth or her platform's mouth. No, CBS is donezo. Not only that, look at who the protesters are and where it's taking place, right? It's really challenging. Of course, you know, Muslims who aren't familiar with the area, it might be a little challenging to understand like what exactly is going on in Iran, but Americans have no idea. Americans exist in a paradigm that is separate from the rest of the world. So what do I mean by that? I mean even simple things like the way our melting pot of culture and ethnicity here, especially in places like New York, it really starts to distort the way the rest of the world is. So in Iran, yeah, of course there's a mixture of culture and there's a lot of rich culture there, but that's a multi-thousand-year-old culture. And they don't have as many ethnicities in the mix there the way America does, or even some places in Europe do. So the people who are protesting are Kurdish. It's a different people, different bloodline, a different ethnic group. Kurds, the Kurdish. They're in a few other countries around there. I think they're in Afghanistan a little as well, and Turkey, Syria. And they don't assimilate because that's a different people. And because of the way the Middle East has been destroyed, the way they section off countries to make these own like vassal states, like the Kurds end up not having their own. They're just in a bunch of places. The Kurds are Zionists. The Kurds are extremely pro-Israel. So The Kurds are the ones that are revolting and protesting. It's just Kurdish people. It's not Iranians. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way, because they're Iranian, like nationality-wise. But it would be like, it's tough to say it in a way that doesn't sound like racial. So this is just a fake world. So imagine, actually I guess Native Americans. Let's say Native Americans, because I was gonna say black people, but like the black population here, which is about the same percentage of Kurdish in Iran. I think it's like 15% maybe. There's 15% of the Iranian population is Kurdish. So I guess, yeah, let's say black people. Imagine black people in America mostly lived in like their own area of America. They weren't spread out in a bunch of states. And like they were the ones protesting, right? Like for their own rights and everything. Like that you, okay, then that now you see it's clear. Right? It's clear, okay, it's a black American protest. We're not Iranian, and there's this internet blackout and they purposely don't want to share all the information. We would never know. You know, it's like, oh, they're in Iran, these people are Iranian. You wouldn't even, right? You wouldn't even know. Like they just look Iranian, right? It's kind of like when Pakistan and India always fight, right? Like I love that they always fight, they hate each other, but like to Americans, you guys are both fucking brown. Like you guys are both Indian, you know? Like you guys are all Indian, you know? Or like when Mexicans, when certain groups of Mexicans hate like another Hispanic country's people. It's like, you guys are all Mexican though. You guys are all fucking Mexican, you know? Or even for me, like Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, for whatever reason, they hate each other often. And like looking, let's say even from my perspective, it's like, yeah, but you're still Spic. Like you're all Spics. Like to the outside of Dominican, Puerto Rican, you look the same. So to us as Americans, because we're not familiar with that side of the world, Kurdish look Iranian. So of course to us, it's like, oh shit, Iran is, there's a protest going on over there. They're going against the government. No, they're just the Kurds. The Kurds were always against the government. This is always happening, you know? And to the extent they're being killed, I mean, you know, the Iranian regime is aggressive. So I'm sure there are unfortunate deaths. It's not 2,000, it's not 20,000. That's definitely for sure. You know, again, we don't know, you know, we don't know. So I can't even say it's not 500, like we don't know. But it is interesting that there is an internet blackout and the only connection that's going out of Iran is from SpaceX. It's from Elon Musk's satellites. And where is this going viral the most and where most people are getting their news from this situation? X. So Elon's platform is promoting and pushing the agenda and the propaganda of an Iranian protest on his social media, and the only way we're getting that footage is through his satellites. So that's interesting, because what people don't realize is SpaceX has a military defensive contract from the government. So SpaceX is a military contractor. So that's interesting. That's interesting to note. And yeah, this is always going on, you know, like through, let's say America, I don't want to blame another country. America puts sanctions on Iran and forces other countries to do the same. And then they pay the protest to take place. The protesters are Kurdish, but they're against the Iranian regime anyway. They just happen to live in Iran, but they're not Iranian in that ethnic sense. And this is all AstroTurf. This is all a psyop. This is not real. And to the extent that I keep seeing these videos get posted everywhere and blasted everywhere, I could safely say they're different angles and, you know, a bunch of different videos, because there are multiple locations in the west, I think, in the west of Iran that it's taking place, which is where the Kurdish are from. They're just old videos. They're not like multiple days. This has not been a weeks-long thing. It's the protest is done already. But because there's a media blackout, they're pushing this to be something larger and greater and longer than what it is. That shit's been done. It's been done. So yeah, whether this is like America and Mossad or just America, to what extent, like who's behind it, who knows? But now this gives a reason for Trump to go in. You know, I genuinely believe he probably didn't want to go back in, especially it's like perfect timing that the whole Venezuela stuff happened, because now we have so much of our troops and so much of our carriers, our battleships here. So it's tough to use all that to go over there now. It's the opposite side of the world. But now these protests and this sort of narrative of thousands dead gives Trump a reason now to like go in. And that's a little scary that there are governments that powerful to do something like this. And yeah, Netanyahu just wants to destabilize another Muslim country, split it up into a bunch of vassal states, much like Sudan, Syria, Yemen, Lebanon, Iraq, because he knows with Iran, he can't put them into submission the way Jordan and Egypt have been put into submission. So it is scary. It is scary to think that this is even something that's possible. But this is what happens with a strong intelligence agency. And if they go unchecked, this is what they could do. So now Trump is going to go in probably because this narrative in Iran is only getting worse. And if Iran's not careful, especially with all the bullshit they're going through the sanctions, you know, they'll be toppled. Israel keeps championing this like lost prince of Iran who's going to be like the secular president.
This is Reza Pahlavi, the self-proclaimed heir to Iran's abolished monarchy. He recently cozied up with Israel as part of his efforts to take charge in Tehran.
The true Iran, the ancient Iran, and the soon-to-be free Iran doesn't seek your patronage. It seeks your partnership.
And like, I keep seeing footage of him. It's like, okay, clearly they want to set him up, much like they set up the Venezuela, the female president who was kicked out of Venezuela but got the Nobel Peace Prize, the Nobel. I don't know what the fuck, the Peace Prize, whatever the fuck it's called. She got that for whatever reason, and now he's probably gonna get the same thing, and he's gonna be championed, and they're gonna want him to take over. And to the extent that the truth is out there, it's there somewhere, we may not know it, but everything they're saying has to be false. So we may not know the truth, we might not know the full authentic truth, but we know what's being shared currently is a lie. Or maybe 10% the truth. And, you know, inshallah, God willing, I don't want to say Iran is victorious, like I'm like this pro-Iranian regime, whatever it may be. Like, it's not that. It's more so there needs to be other powers in the Middle East to keep each other in check, or else it's just going to be one superpower. Right now they're like a mid-power, but one superpower in the future, and the Muslims will never be able to get together and build our own empire. And not our empire of conquest, but an empire of just a Muslim conglomerate of countries abiding by Muslim and Quranic law and living peacefully with each other and segregated, but in peace with the rest of the world. That would be beautiful. And Iran is the last country that is keeping that possibility alive, and no other Muslim countries are supporting them, really. And that's sad. You know, no matter whether you're Sunni or Shia, like, that's sad that Iran is alone. And when you put it in that perspective, I get why people feel hopeless. I can never feel that way. I'm sick, so I never feel defeated. And I genuinely would rather die on my feet than live on my knees. And I have no fear of death at all. But I do understand the perspective of feeling hopeless, because after Iran, like, what's left? You know, what's left stopping the West and Israel from doing whatever the they want? So yeah, I don't know what the solution is necessarily, other than us getting together, Muslims and Christians, you know, fighting for our common causes and aligning on the 90% that we do align with, and ridding secularism, liberalism, ridding the sort of like purposeful misunderstanding of the Quran and the Hadith. And yeah, the silver lining in all this is just know, like, anyone who's lying about Iran, that they're showing their true colors, and never trust them again. COVID should have did that for you, but if not, like, let this be the lesson. Like, do not trust these legacy media corporations. All they want to do is lie and control the narrative. And I can't say Iran is the good guy necessarily, but they're not the bad guy in this. You know, there's no black and white, it's varying shades of gray. And yes, those are my thoughts for the day. I appreciate you guys sticking around if you got this far. Again, my name is Jovian. This is Crescent Cross Covenant Coalition. Smash the like button, smash the follow button, leave a comment, share with your friends or anyone else who might be interested in this message. I've created a Telegram, which is in my description below. I love the idea of having this sort of message board where I can share unfiltered thoughts that don't have to be filtered due to guidelines from these social media companies. So I feel like that's just really cozy to just have like direct access to my thoughts, and who knows, maybe we'll make a group chat one day when this grows. But thank you for everything, guys. I appreciate the support, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.
بسم الله الرحمن